My name is Sarah Mitchell, and for the past 4 years, I have worked the graveyard shift at the County 911 Dispatch Center. Most people think this job is all high-speed chases and dramatic rescues. The truth is, it is mostly drunk drivers, domestic disputes, and people who cannot figure out that 911 is not for reporting potholes. But 3 months ago, something changed. 3 months ago, I started receiving calls from someone who would alter everything I thought I knew about my job, my life, and myself. This is that story. The dispatch center sits in the basement of the county municipal building. A concrete box with fluorescent lights that hum constantly, and terrible coffee that tastes like it was brewed. Sometime during the previous administration, there are 6 stations, but on the night shift, only 2 of us work at a time. Me and whoever drew the short straw that week. At first night, it was Marcus on shift with me. Marcus is good people, been doing this for almost 15 years. He has seen everything, heard everything. Nothing rattles him anymore. He says the secret is compartmentalization. Leave the job at the job. Never take it home. I have never been good at that. It was 2:17 in the morning when the call came through. I remember the exact time because I was watching the clock, counting down the hours until my shift ended at 6. The board lit up. Line 3. I clicked the button. 911. What is your emergency? Silence. Not dead air, but breathing. Slow, deliberate breathing. Hello, this is 911. Do you have an emergency? More breathing. Then, a voicemail.com. Almost pleasant. Hello, Sarah. My blood went cold. Callers are not supposed to know our names. This system is designed to keep us anonymous. We are just voices on the other end of the line, helping people through their worst moments. Sir, do you have an emergency to report? Not yet. Then I need to keep this line clear for actual emergencies. Oh, this is an emergency, Sarah. You just do not know it yet. Before I could respond, the line went dead. I sat there, staring at the screen. The call had lasted 23 seconds. The number showed as blocked. No location data, nothing. Marcus noticed me frozen in place. You good? Yeah, just a weird call. First time, I forced a laugh. No, definitely not the first time. But it was different. I could not explain why, but something about that voice, the way he said my name, it burrowed under my skin and stayed there. I tried to shake it off, filed the call as a non-emergency disconnect, and moved on. The rest of the shift was normal. A fender bender on Highway 42, a noise complaint, an elderly woman who thought someone was in her backyard, but it turned out to be a raccoon. I went home at 6, slept fitfully, and came back the next night, 2:17 in the morning. Line 3, 911. What is your emergency? Hello, Sarah. Did you think about me today? My hand trembled slightly as I reached for the log button. Sir, I am going to need you to state the nature of your emergency, or I will have to disconnect this call. That would be unfortunate. I have so much to tell you. Then tell me, what is your emergency? You are Sarah. You are the emergency. Cliff, 23 seconds again, the same blocked number. Same nothing. Marcus was on break, so I sat alone in the fluorescent hum, my heart hammering against my ribs. I should have reported it, should have told my supervisor, should have done something. Instead, I waited. The calls continued. Every night I worked, 2:17 in the morning, line 3. Always the same voice. Always 23 seconds. Night 3. Sarah, do you remember October 15th, 2019? Night 4. You made a choice that night. The wrong choice. Night 5. Someone died because of you, Sarah. Night 6. And I am going to make sure you remember. I stopped sleeping. Could not eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that voice. Calm. Patient. Certain. October 15th, 2019. I racked my brain trying to remember. That was over 4 years ago, early in my career as a dispatcher. I had handled hundreds, maybe thousands of calls since then. How was I supposed to remember one specific date? On night 7, I broke protocol. When the call came through at 2:17, I was ready. 911, what is your emergency? Sarah, have you figured it out yet? Who are you? What do you want from me? I want you to remember. I want you to understand what you did. I did not do anything. I am just a dispatcher. Just a dispatcher. Just following procedure. Just doing a job. That is what you told yourself, is it not? My voice cracked. I do not know what you are talking about. Apartment 12B, the Riverside Complex. A woman called, screaming that her boyfriend was going to kill her. Do you remember now? The line went dead. But I did remember. Apartment 12B, Riverside Complex. October 15th, 2019. It came flooding back. I had been on shift for only 3 months. Still learning, still nervous, still making mistakes. The call came in around midnight. A woman, hysterical, screaming that her boyfriend was drunk and threatening her with a knife. I had dispatched police immediately, sent 2 units, logged it as a domestic violence situation, priority 1. But then, 3 minutes later, another call came in. Line 1, a multi-vehicle accident on the interstate, multiple injuries, possible fatalities. I had to make a choice. The protocol is clear. Life-threatening emergencies take precedence. A car accident with confirmed injuries outranks a domestic dispute with no confirmed weapon sighting. So I redirected one of the units, heading to apartment 12B. I told myself it was the right call, that I had followed procedure. That 1 unit was enough for a domestic situation. I never followed up, never checked what happened after that night. Until now. Night 8 to 17. 911. What is your emergency? Her name was Rebecca Thompson. She was 24 years old. She had a degree in graphic design. She loved painting. She volunteered at animal shelters. Please, stop. You redirected that unit, Sarah. You sent them to the highway instead. And while they were scraping bodies off the interstate, Rebecca was dying in apartment 12B. That is not fair. I had to make a choice. The accident had multiple casualties. 1 unit arrived at her apartment 14 minutes after her initial call. 14 minutes. Sarah, do you know what can happen in 14 minutes? I am sorry. God, I am so sorry. But I followed protocol. I did what I was trained to do. Rebecca bled out on her kitchen floor. Her boyfriend stabbed her 17 times. And when the police finally arrived, he was sitting on the couch, covered in her blood, watching television. Tears streamed down my face. I did not know. I could not have known. But you could have sent both units. You could have called for backup. You could have done something different. The accident had 5 people injured. I saved lives that night, and you let Rebecca die. The line went dead. I sat there, sobbing, my headset still on. Marcus came back from break and found me like that, shaking and crying at my station. He called my supervisor. They sent me home, told me to take a few days off, get some rest, talk to someone. But I knew the calls would not stop. I did not work for a week. He spent my time researching, trying to find any information about Rebecca Thompson. It was not hard. Her case had made local news. Young woman murdered by boyfriend. Domestic violence tragedy. He got 25 years to life. There were pictures of her, smiling, vibrant, alive, and pictures of the apartment building, crime scene tape across the door of 12B. I read every article, watched every news clip, tried to find any mention of the 911 call, the dispatch delay, anything that would confirm what the caller had told me. Nothing. The report said police responded within standard time frame for a domestic disturbance. No mention of a redirect, no mention of me. But I knew the truth. I had made a choice that night, and Rebecca Thompson had paid for it. When I returned to work, I lasted exactly 3 hours before requesting to speak with my supervisor privately. Her name was Linda Carr, a stern woman in her 50s who had been running dispatch for over 2 decades. She had seen everything, trusted nothing, and had zero tolerance for drama. I sat in her office and told her everything. The calls, the voice. Rebecca Thompson, October 15th, 2019. She listened without interrupting, her face unreadable. When I finished, she pulled up my personnel file on her computer. October 15th, 2019. Let me check the logs. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Minutes passed. Finally, she looked up. Sarah, I have every call you handled that night, including the domestic disturbance at Riverside Complex. You followed protocol exactly. Dispatched a unit initially, then redirected one to a mass casualty event. Response time to the domestic was still within acceptable parameters, but she died. Yes, she did, and that is a tragedy. But you did your job correctly. You made the right call based on the information you had. Then why is someone calling me? Why does he know my name? Why does he blame me? Linda leaned back in a chair, studying me carefully. How many calls do you think we handle in this center every year, Sarah? I do not know. Thousands, hundreds of thousands. And in those hundreds of thousands of calls, people live and people die. Sometimes because we do our job right, sometimes despite it. You cannot save everyone. I know that. Do you? Because from where I am sitting, it looks like someone has gotten inside your head and convinced you that you are responsible for a murder you had nothing to do with. So what do? You file a formal complaint. We trace the calls. We involve law enforcement. And you stop answering line 3 at 2:17 in the morning. They tried to trace the calls, brought in tech specialists, analyzed the phone records, ran every diagnostic imaginable. The calls were untraceable. Whoever was doing this knew exactly how to hide their tracks. Meanwhile, I was pulled from active duty, put on administrative leave pending investigation. They said it was for my own protection, but it felt like punishment. I spent my days at home, jumping at every phone ring, checking over my shoulder, waiting for 2:17 in the morning, even though I was not at work. On the 12th day of my leave, my personal cell phone rang. Unknown number. My hands shook as I answered. Hello? Hello, Sarah. Did you think taking time off would make me go away? How did you get this number? I know everything about you, Sarah. Where you live, where you shop, where your mother lives in that little assisted care facility on Maple Street. Leave my mother out of this. Then stop running, stop hiding, come back to work. Why? What do you want from me? I want you to understand. I want you to feel what Rebecca felt. Helpless, alone, waiting for someone to save you while the seconds tick away. You are insane. Am I the only one willing to hold you accountable? The line went dead. I called the police, filed a report. They took notes, said they would look into it, told me to keep my doors locked and call if anything else happened. But I knew they could not help me. Whoever this was, he was patient, methodical. He had been planning this for months, maybe years, and he was not going to stop until he got whatever twisted justice he thought he deserved. I went back to work after 3 weeks. Linda had assured me they had increased security protocols. All calls were now being recorded and monitored in real time. If the mystery caller tried again, they would be ready. My first night back, Marcus greeted me with a sad smile. Good to have you back. Good to be back, I think. Look, whatever is going on, we have got your back. All of us. You are not alone in this. I appreciated the sentiment, but I felt more alone than ever. The shift was quiet. A few routine calls, nothing unusual. I kept watching the clock. 2:15, 2:16, 2:17. Line 3 lit up. My hand hovered over the button. Linda was in the observation room, watching, recording everything. 2 other supervisors stood by. This was it. We were going to catch him. I clicked the button. 911. What is your emergency? Hello, Sarah. I see you brought friends tonight. How does he know? How does he always know? That will not help you, Sarah. Nothing will help you, because you cannot run from the truth. What truth? That I did my job? That I followed protocol? That Rebecca Thompson died and there was nothing I could have done differently? There is always something you could have done differently. Every choice creates a branch. Every decision leads somewhere. And your decision led to her death. Then what do you want me to do? You want me to quit? You want me to suffer? What? I want you to admit it. I want you to say the words. I want you to confess. Confess what? That you killed Rebecca Thompson. I did not kill her. Her boyfriend did. He is the monster, not me. Monsters come in many forms. Sarah, some hold knives. Others hold phones. Both can kill. The line went dead. 23 seconds. Always 23 seconds. Linda burst into the main room, her face flushed with frustration. Nothing. The call bounced through 12 different servers across 4 countries. Whoever this is, they know what they are doing. I sat there, numb. The weight of every eye in the room pressed down on me. Sarah, I think we need to consider putting you on permanent leave until this is resolved. No, please. This job is all I have. If I lose this, I lose everything. You are not losing anything. We are protecting you. From what? A voice on the phone. How do you protect someone from their own guilt? The room went silent. Marcus stepped forward, his voice gentle. Sarah, this is not about guilt. This is about someone targeting you. Someone dangerous. But what if he is right? What if I did kill her? Not directly, but what if my choices that night set everything in motion? Linda placed a hand on my shoulder. Stop. Right now. You did not kill anyone, and I will not let this person destroy you. But the damage was already done. The seed of doubt had been planted, watered, and now it was growing into something I could not control. The next few nights passed without incident. No calls at 217, no mysterious voice, just the normal chaos of emergency dispatch. But I could not shake the feeling that I was being watched, and shadows seemed to hide something. Every unknown caller made my heart race. On the 5th night back, I was handling a domestic disturbance call when something in the caller's story made me freeze. "Ma'am, can you tell me your address again?" 412 Riverside Avenue, apartment 8C, please hurry, he is getting worse. Riverside, the same complex where Rebecca Thompson had lived. "Ma'am, stay on the line with me. I am dispatching units right now." My hands moved automatically, sending 2 units immediately. Then I added a third, then a fourth. "Sarah, that is excessive for a domestic disturbance." It was Linda, monitoring from the observation room. "I do not care. Send them all. Sarah, send them all." Within 6 minutes, 4 police units arrived at Riverside Complex. Apartment 8C, the woman was safe. Her boyfriend was arrested without incident. No injuries, no violence, but I could not stop shaking. After my shift, Linda called me into her office. "What happened tonight? I could not let it happen again." "Let what happen again? You did your job. You sent help. The woman is safe. But what if I had not sent enough? What if I had made the same mistake?" He sent 4 units to a routine domestic call, Sarah. That is not protocol. That is panic. Maybe panic is what saves lives. Or maybe panic is what gets people killed. He had tied up resources that could have been needed elsewhere. What if there had been a real emergency and we had no units available? Because they were all standing around in someone's living room. I had not thought of that. Linda leaned back in a chair, studying me carefully. "You are making decisions based on fear now, not training, not logic. Fear, and that is dangerous. So what do? You take time? Real time. You talk to someone? You work through this, and then maybe you come back when you are ready. I am ready now." "No, Sarah, you are not." She was right. I knew she was right. But admitting it felt like admitting defeat. That night, I drove to Riverside Complex, parked outside, stared up at the building where Rebecca Thompson had died 4 years ago. Apartment 12B was dark, empty. According to public records, no one had lived there since the murder. The landlord could not rent it out. Too much history. Too much blood. I sat in my car for hours, trying to understand what had happened that night, trying to see if there was some detail I had missed, some sign that I should have known. But there was nothing. Just a building, just an apartment, just a tragedy that I could not undo. As I was about to leave, someone tapped on my window. I jumped, my heart nearly exploding out of my chest. It was an older woman, bundled in a thick coat despite the mild weather. I rolled down my window. "Can I help you? You should not be here." "Excuse me, this place, it is cursed. Bad things happened here. Bad things still happen here. I know what happened to Rebecca Thompson." The woman's eyes widened. "You knew her?" "No, but I was part of what happened that night. I was the dispatcher who took the call." The woman stepped back, her face twisted with something between pity and disgust. "Then you should definitely not be here." "Why not?" "Because some ghosts do not want to be disturbed, and some guilt cannot be washed away by standing outside the place where it happened." "Who are you?" "I lived next door. Apartment 12A. I was the one who called 911 that second time. When I heard the screaming, you made the 23-second call." "I did, and I have lived with that for 4 years, wondering if I should have done more. Said more. Made them understand how urgent it was." "You did everything right. You called, reported what you heard, but she still died. We both did our jobs. We both followed the rules, and she still died." The woman pulled her coat tighter. "I moved out 3 months after it happened. Could not stay there. Could not sleep knowing what had happened on the other side of that wall. But I'll still come back sometimes, to remember, to punish myself. That is why I am here too." "Then we are both fools." She walked away, disappearing into the night. I drove home with her words echoing in my head. Some ghosts do not want to be disturbed. The next day, I called my mother. She lived in the assisted care facility on Maple Street, the same one the mysterious caller had mentioned. I had not visited her in weeks, too consumed by my own spiral. "Sarah, darling, it is so good to hear your voice." "Hi, Mum, how are you feeling?" "Oh, you know, same as always. The food here is terrible and the other residents are all crazy. but I am managing." I smiled despite everything. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course, honey. Do you think people can be haunted by their mistakes?" She was quiet for a moment. "Is this about your job?" "Sort of." "Sarah, I have lived 78 years on this earth. I have made more mistakes than I can count. Some small, some that changed the course of my entire life. And yes, I am haunted by some of them. But you know what I learned? What haunting does not come from the mistakes themselves. It comes from refusing to forgive yourself for being human. But what if the mistake costs someone their life? Then you carry that. You honor it. You let it make you better, not bitter. But you do not let it destroy you, because that helps no one. Not you, not the person who died. No one." I started crying. "I do not know if I can forgive myself, Ma." "Then start by trying. One day at a time. One choice at a time. And eventually, maybe, you will get there." We talked for another hour, about nothing and everything. And when I hung up, I felt slightly lighter. Not fixed, not healed, but lighter. That night, I returned to work. Linda had agreed to let me stay on active duty, but with conditions. Mandatory therapy sessions twice a week, regular check-ins with supervisors, and immediate removal if I showed any signs of impaired judgment. I agreed to all of it. The shift started normally. A few medical calls. A car accident. Nothing major. And then, at 2:17 in the morning, line 3 lit up. I stared at it for a moment. Marcus noticed. "You want me to take it?" "No, I need to do this." I clicked the button. 911, what is your emergency? Silence, then breathing, then the voice. "Hello, Sarah. I have missed our talks. What do you want from me? I have admitted everything. I have accepted responsibility. What more do you want?" "I want you to understand something, Sarah. Something important. For Rebecca Thompson's death was not your fault." I froze. "What? You heard me. It was not your fault. Her boyfriend killed her. That is the truth. You made a judgment call with the information you had. That is all. Then why did you do this to me? Why did you torture me for months? But someone needed to pay. Someone needed to suffer. And you were there. You were sick. I am a father who lost his daughter, and in my grief, I became something terrible. Something I do not recognize anymore. You destroyed me. I know. And I am sorry. I am calling to tell you that I am done. It is over. Just like that. Just like that. Who are you, really? Does it matter? Yes, it matters." The line was quiet for a long moment. "My name is David Thompson. Rebecca was my daughter, my only child. And when she died, a part of me died with her. I spent years trying to find someone to blame. The police, the justice system, anyone. And then I found your name in the reports. And I convinced myself that you were responsible. That if you had just done something different, she would still be alive. But I was wrong. You were wrong. I was wrong. And now I have to live with what I did to you. Just like you have to live with what you think you did to her." The revelation hit me like a physical blow. You are really her father. I am, and I am so very sorry for what I have put you through. Where are you now? I am at the police station. I have confessed everything. They are going to arrest me, and you have every right to press charges, every right to make sure I pay for what I did. Mr. Thompson, yes, I am not going to press charges. Why not? Because you are right. We are both victims of the same tragedy, and adding more suffering to the world will not bring Rebecca back. He started crying. Thank you, Sarah. But I need you to understand something too. What? This does not make what you did okay. You hurt me. You nearly destroyed me. And I am going to have to live with that for the rest of my life. I know, and I am sorry. Apologies do not fix everything, Mr. Thompson. But they are a start. What will you do now? I do not know. Try to heal. Try to forgive. Try to move forward. What will you do? The same, I suppose. Though I do not know if I deserve to move forward. None of us deserve anything, Mr. Thompson. We just do the best we can with what we have, and we hope that is enough. The call ended. I sat there for a long time, headset still on, tears streaming down my face. Marcus approached cautiously. Sarah, you okay? No, but I will be. What happened? The truth. Finally, the truth. And in that moment, for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. Linda played back the recording half a dozen times, ran the voice through analysis software, compared it against known offenders. Nothing. The voice was altered, digitally masked, impossible to identify. But something he said nagged at me. 23 seconds. Why always 23 seconds? I went back through every call log from that night in 2019. Every detail, every timestamp, and then I found it. Rebecca Thompson's initial 911 call lasted 2 minutes and 47 seconds. She begged for help, gave her address, described her boyfriend's behavior. The dispatcher that night, it was not me. I had not taken that call. I only handled the dispatch routing, but there was another call, a follow-up, 12 minutes later, from a neighbor, reporting sounds of screaming and violence from apartment 12B. That call lasted 23 seconds, and the dispatcher who took it marked it as a duplicate non-priority and did not send additional units. That dispatcher was me. It all came crashing down. I had forgotten, completely blocked it out, but there it was, in black and white. Call log, October 15th, 2019, 2:23 in the morning. Neighbor reporting disturbance at Riverside Complex, apartment 12B, marked as duplicate by dispatcher Mitchell. No additional units dispatched. 23 seconds. In those 23 seconds, I had decided that the neighbor's call was not important enough. Just duplicate information. The police were already on their way. No need to escalate. But what if I had sent backup? What if I had upgraded the priority? What if I had done something, anything different? Would Rebecca Thompson still be alive? I called the number back, the blocked number, over and over. Left voicemails, sent texts. Please, I remember now. I remember what I did. You were right. You were right about everything. No response. Days passed, then weeks. No more calls at 2:17. No more mysterious voice. Nothing. It was worse than the calls. The silence was deafening, because now I knew the truth, and I had no one to confess to. I tried to find information about Rebecca Thompson's family, parents, siblings, anyone who might be behind the calls. Her parents had both passed away years before her death. No siblings, no close relatives listed in any of the articles. Dead end. 2 months after the calls stopped, I sat in my therapist's office, trying to explain the guilt that was eating me alive. Sarah, you understand that even if you had sent additional units, there is no guarantee the outcome would have been different. But there is a chance. Any chance would have been better than nothing. You were torturing yourself over a decision you made in seconds with incomplete information years ago. Someone died. Someone died because her boyfriend stabbed her 17 times, not because you did not send a second police car. Then why does it feel like my fault? Because someone convinced you it was. This caller, whoever he was, he manipulated you, made you believe you were responsible for something you had no control over. What if he was right? My therapist leaned forward. What if he was not? What if he was just a sick person who found your name in a public record and decided to torture you for his own twisted reasons? Then why did he stop? Maybe he got what he wanted. He made you suffer, made you doubt yourself. Mission accomplished. But I could not accept that. Could not let it go. 6 months later, I was working a normal shift. Different schedule now. Day shifts. No more graveyard. No more 2:17 in the morning. Linda thought it would help. Fresh start. New routine. It did not help. Every call I took, I second-guessed myself. Every decision, I wondered if I was making the right choice. Every moment, I heard that voice. You killed Rebecca Thompson. And then, on a random Tuesday afternoon, the call came. 911. What is your emergency? Sarah Mitchell. It was not the same voice. This was different. Older. Rougher. Yes, this is Sarah. What is your emergency? My name is David Thompson. I am calling because I need to speak with you about my daughter. My blood turned to ice. Your daughter. Rebecca Thompson. I could barely breathe. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know what happened. I know about the calls, the voice, the things he told you. You know, how do you know? Because it was me. The world tilted. What? I made those calls. Sarah, every single one. It was me. But your voice, it was different. It was technology is a wonderful thing. Miss Mitchell. Voice changes. Digital masking. Not hard to do if you know how. Why? Why would you do this to me? Because I needed someone to blame. I needed someone to hurt the way I was hurting. And you were there. Your name was in the reports. You were the one who marked that call as non-priority. Mr. Thompson, I am so sorry about Rebecca. I am sorry for what happened. But I did not kill her. I know. The words hung in the air. I know you did not kill her, but I needed you to feel what she felt, helpless, terrified, alone, and for 6 months, you did. You felt every bit of it. Tears streamed down my face. She was my daughter, Miss Mitchett, my only child, and she died screaming for help that came too late. I spent years trying to make sense of it, years trying to find someone to blame besides the man who actually killed her, and you found me. I found you, and I made you suffer. And now I am calling to tell you that I am done. It is over. Just like that. Just like that. Because no amount of your pain will bring her back. No amount of guilt will change what happened. I thought it would make me feel better. Thought it would give me closure. But it did not. It just made me into something I am not. A monster. Yes, a monster. Just like the man who killed my daughter. What happens now? Now I turn myself in. I am calling from the police station. I have already confessed everything. They are going to arrest me, and you are going to have to decide if you want to press charges. Do you want me to? Honestly, I do not care anymore. I am tired, Miss Mitchell. So very tired, Mr. Thompson. I cannot imagine your pain. I cannot imagine losing a child. But what you did, the things you said, you nearly destroyed me. I know, and I am sorry. For what it is worth, I am truly sorry. The line went quiet for a moment. She loved painting, you know. Watercolors mostly. Landscapes. She could make a sunset look like it was actually glowing on the page. She sounds like she was wonderful. She was, and she is gone. And no amount of 911 calls or police reports or prison sentences will ever bring her back. No, they will not. So what do we do now, Miss Mittsville? You and me. Two people broken by the same tragedy. I do not know. Neither do I. And then, for the first time in 6 months, I said the words I had been holding back. I am sorry I marked that call as non-priority. I am sorry I did not send backup. I am sorry that my choice, right or wrong, contributed to your daughter not getting help fast enough. I am sorry for all of it. David Thompson was quiet for a long time. Thank you. I needed to hear that. What will happen to you? I will go to jail. Probably. Harassment. Stalking. Whatever they can charge me with. I deserve it, Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
I am not going to press charges. Why not? Because you are right. We're both broken by the same tragedy. And adding more punishment to the world is not going to fix anything. He started crying. I could hear it through the phone. Thank you, Miss Mitchell. Thank you. The call ended. David Thompson was arrested that day, charged with criminal harassment and stalking. He pleaded guilty. The judge gave him probation and mandatory counseling. I never spoke to him again, but I think about him sometimes. About the pain that drives people to do terrible things. About how grief can twist and warp until it becomes something monstrous. I still work as a 911 dispatcher. Different center now. Different city. Fresh start. I still think about Rebecca Thompson. Probably always will. But I learned something through all of this. We are all just doing our best. Making choices with incomplete information. Trying to save who we can with the resources we have. Sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we fail. And sometimes we carry the weight of those failures for the rest of our lives. But we keep answering the calls. Because somewhere out there, someone is waiting for help. And maybe, just maybe, we will be the voice on the other end of the line that makes the difference. It has been 2 years since those calls stopped. 2 years since David Thompson confessed. 2 years since I learned the truth. I have not had any mysterious calls since then. No blocked numbers. No voices at 2:17 in the morning. But sometimes, late at night, when the dispatch center is quiet and I am the only one on shift, I hear that voice in my head. Hello, Sarah. And I wonder, what if there are others out there? Other David Thompsons. Other Rebecca Thompsons. Other moments where a split-second decision changed everything. What if I am one call away from another tragedy? What if next time I make the wrong choice again? But then another call comes in, and I answer. Because that is what I do. That is who I am. I am Sarah Mitchell. I work as a 911 dispatcher, and I will keep answering calls for as long as I can. For as long as they need me. Even knowing that I cannot save everyone. Even knowing that some voices will haunt me forever. I keep answering because someone has to. And tonight, that someone is me.